Landing in Vietnam is like being thrown headfirst into a symphony of sight and sound chaos. A relentless, beautiful, bewildering assault on every sense you possess. They say you never forget your first time in Saigon. The assault on your sense is immediate, unapologetic, and strangely intoxicating. It's a city that doesn't just welcome you, it swallows you whole, digests you, and spits you out a little different than you were before. Out of the window of our grab, the impossible unfolds with mundane regularity. A man reads yesterday's news while balanced on the back of a scooter. No helmet, no concern, just another Tuesday night in Saigon. The reflections, the grime, the flashing lights of food vendors, it's all a part of the beautiful mess that is this city. A place that grabs you and doesn't let you go. The air is thick with the smell of diesel, jasmine, grilling pork, and something else, something ancient and electric. Vietnam has been calling me for years. Like Bourdain before me, I've been drawn to this place. Its contradictions, its resilience, its unrelenting forward momentum despite the weight of history. It's a siren song of pho and fish sauce, of stories whispered in alleyways and shouted across market stalls. But this isn't Bourdain's Vietnam, this is mine. And like the man himself once said, travel isn't always pretty, it isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it hurts, it even breaks your heart, but that's okay. The journey changes you. And Vietnam, I suspect, is a master of change. This is the heart of Saigon, and this is where our journey begins. Morning in Saigon arrives with surprising gentleness. Before the heat, before the chaos fully takes hold, there's a moment of calm, fleeting but perfect. They officially renamed it Ho Chi Minh City in 1976, but locals still call it Saigon. Names here carry weight, history. The past is never quite the past in Vietnam. It's a ghost that walks alongside you, sometimes a comforting presence, sometimes a chilling reminder. And what struck me immediately, day or night, was the activity level of the older population. While the young race towards the future on their smartphones, the elders maintain a level of fitness and work ethic that puts my own generation to shame. From graceful Tai Chi and what looks like some form of Kung Fu in the parks at dawn, to an almost acrobatic game involving a weighted shuttlecock kicked with precision to determine stretching routines with household brooms, their vitality is palpable. In the West, we often tuck away our elderly out of sight. They remain vital threads in the social fabric, keepers of tradition. In a rapidly modernising world, their presence is a constant reminder of a life lived with purpose, a connection to the past that informs the present. But even this is changing. The traditional trades, the rickshaw drivers, the water boat operators, all dying out. The young aren't taking up these customary jobs. The relentless march of progress has little patience for the old ways. Vietnam feels different than we're told back home. More free, more complex, more alive with possibilities. The war that dominates Western perceptions of this country ended nearly 50 years ago. What's emerged since is something entirely its own, vibrant, chaotic, utterly compelling tapestry woven from the threads of ancient tradition and hyper-modern ambition. But tradition isn't static in Vietnam. It evolves, adapts, finds new expressions. We met Singaporean-born Javel Chan, a young mover and shaker in Saigon's burgeoning food and media scene. She writes for multiple online and print publications, runs a popular blog, and owns this coffee bar with a twist.
So I think they usually find my blog and then they ask me to write for them. You know, like people who travel nowadays, I think they really want something a little bit more inside or deep. It's kind of like an expert to write or share something.
I feel like I want a personal connection rather than sitting on a tour bus or...
Yeah.
You know, I see this Kentucky stuff and to me it's not travel at all. It's something else. It's like it's consuming something rather than experiencing something.
I do think that as well. Like, you know, we do tours and we do workshops and we host, not for any other reason than there were so many people who were asking us to do it, right? We focus primarily on the workshops.
Yeah.
So we try to hire people from the industry, but we want people who really know the stuff.
Deep knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be able to talk about food, to be able to share about things, right? So this goes on for about 5 to 10 minutes. Every time somebody orders an egg coffee, we do tell them to wait for like 8 minutes. You'll try it and it will taste like literally a tiramisu.
Okay.
If you drink this on the streets, it's actually hot. We serve it cold.
Okay.
Because it's really hot outside. Serve it in a nice little Instagrammable glass.
That's a Scotch glass.
So that's your Robusta coffee. The egg cream, very slowly.
Yeah, I can see why a bartender did this.
On top, kind of just to let the layer. You also add some cocoa powder onto our egg coffee. And yeah, that is our coffee.
Javel represents a new Vietnam, confident, creative, connected to global trends but proudly rooted in the Vietnam identity. Her coffee bar is much a cultural space as a business, a place where tradition and innovation coexist, where conversations spark and ideas are born.
You like it? Is this your first egg coffee?
Yeah.
Really?
First egg
You're
coffee.
ruined. You're ruined for everybody.
What am I going to do for the rest of my life?
I know.
I'm going to have to keep coming to Saigon and having this every time I want a coffee.
So we carry 40 to 50 different local brands here.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the coffee, we have all that alcohol is from Vietnam, like everything on our menu is from here. And every month or every 2 weeks, we actually invite the makers to come in and host something.
Okay. What's the morning drinking culture like in Saigon?
People drink coffee twice a day. The morning coffee is the one that they, go to the streets, or they'll get it on the small little chairs, and they'll get it there, and it's quick. They get it together with the banh mi. It's very common that people are on the way to work on the motorbike, and you just get it off the streets. It's in these small little plastic bags, and that's it. The second coffee is 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. That's when we get busy.
Yeah.
I opened up here thinking we were going to get busy, in the mornings.
Yeah.
But we realized that's not true.
That's interesting because most in Australia, 1, 2 o'clock, all coffee shops close.
No, we actually push back our hours to be later because we get the crowd at 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. after lunch. People sit down and they with their friends, 3-4 people, and then they get their coffee. In the morning, the only people who come here and get their coffees are our Western clients.
Yeah.
Our Vietnamese friends go over there and they get the banh mi with the coffee and they go to work.
Yeah.
We don't. That's why coffee, I think over here is a very social thing. Like what I said, right?
Yeah.
It's a very let's sit down, let's have 10 a.m., let's grab a cigarette. You never have a coffee alone sitting down.
Yeah, okay.
Unless you maybe are having a banh mi or it's a very different culture, right? Especially we're in the CBD.
Yeah.
paisajes cambian sin cesar. El silencio de las ventanas acarician mi hondo pesar. No puedo pensar en pararme. Este movimiento me acuna. Dicen por ahí que el tiempo cura. Yo solo me fío de mi andar. Infinito tren, cuánto tiempo. Pasajeros pasan y se van. El destino está lleno de andenes. En alguno tendré que bajar. Y aunque volveré a embarcarme, embrujada por el loco azar, solo al mover me conozco y encuentro mi único hogar. Algo en el espacio entre un lugar y otro me consuela, me ofrece claridad.
If you're going to come to Vietnam and you're not going to try the street food and the ma and pa restaurants on the side of the street, I don't really know what to tell you. Some of the best food I've had so far in my life has been here in District 1. And the most innocuous places. Got to try some chili. Not too much. Don't make the same mistakes I've made. So when we shot the last episode in Bali, I didn't want to get into the food too much because I didn't want to be considered a food blogger or trying to be Anthony Bourdain. But what I realized is that food is such an important part of the culture and the places that, you know, it'd be my mistake to leave it out. Oh, look at that gristle. Already starting to sweat. Oh, that's how I know it's good. Try some of these sprigs. Kind of like being serenaded by scooters and people yelling. Some of that.
I'm always a little self-conscious when people watch me eat.
I'm just getting used to it.
Yeah. What stands out?
As soon as you add chili to it,
Yeah.
with these sprig leaves, it's kind of like a lime resonance in your mouth. It's delicious.
Authentic Vietnamese.
Oh,
Yeah, we just had something down the road, and I tell you, just in your face, it goes, wow.
there's some amazing places.
It is. We've been here a few times before, and keep coming back to this. Cheers.
See you, mate. Well, there you go.
Our guide for the day, too, from Saigon Photo Walk, promised to show us a side of the city that tourists rarely see. He explained the history of Saigon with a quiet reverence.
But after that, they have been destroyed by the French. And around this area is the village. And after the French take over, they just destroy all of that. And based on that foundation, they build a new city. And they call it Saigon. And that's why in this one nowadays, you only see the French architecture. So too, I am the founder of the Saigon Film Photo Work, combine the film photography and tourism into one. So I do what I love.
Yeah.
So that's with film photography, photograph. I just like go everywhere and carry the camera on my neck. On that tour, we will introduce the history and the culture of the Ho Chi Minh City by telling and introduce the guests to use the film camera, especially TLR, medium format camera, for them to connect and discuss with local people and take some memory from that camera. And meet a lot of local people, make some new friends, and go traveling, and also read a lot of books.
Yep.
And because I love history and culture, because like with me, the difference between another country is the human. Because like you can find any, like the mountain, the ocean, it everywhere in the world. But the difference between each country is about the people in there. Most of my guests sharing that energy, and they come to me. And on like 5 years of doing this, I have been like not only like some income, but like finding myself. But basically, it's just sharing the same vision, and that's what make me feel stronger. And that feeling will be your motivation to go further.
One of the oldest remaining consistently inhabited apartment blocks. A living museum where the everyday life of Saigonese people unfolds in a labyrinth of narrow alleyways. There's an intimacy to these spaces that's both uncomfortable and oddly comforting. Lives stacked upon lives, separated by thin walls, but connected by shared sounds, smells and histories. Tu explained how life is for the everyday Saigonian here. A constant negotiation of space and a deep sense of community born from proximity. Before parting ways, Tu shared with us the location of a historical event nearby that you may have seen referenced to in pop culture. something so significant in history that it's etched into our brains. On June 11th, 1963, in a deliberate act of protest against the Diem regime's policies, Buddhist monk Thich Quang Doc immolated himself. In doing so, he became the worldwide symbol of struggle for religious freedoms. You may recognise the photo from Malcolm Brown's cover art of Rage Against the Machine's self-titled debut album. Doc's brother penned a letter to Martin Luther King in 1965, the following: "The self-burning of Vietnamese Buddhist monks in 1963 is somehow difficult for the Western Christian conscience to understand. The press spoke then of suicide, but in essence it is not. It is not even a protest. What the monks said in the letters they left behind before burning themselves, aimed only at alarming, at moving the hearts of the oppressors and calling attention of the world to the suffering endured by the Vietnamese. I'll stop there, but I encourage you to read the entire thing, which can be found by searching 'In Search of Enemy of Man.'" While this is the most famous immolation, it is by far not an isolated event. In that year alone, between June and October, it seems 7 monks burned themselves. There is a horror to see the footage, which is like scooping out the cavity of your chest with a bear claw and remaining there, hollow on the inside from your ribs to your belly. History is written by the victors, they say, but rarely is it written with such unflinching honesty about the cost of that victory. This place left me, or you can see, the photographs, the artefacts, they forced you to confront the human cost of conflict in ways history books never could. You can't understand Saigon or Vietnam without confronting the war that nearly destroyed it. The War Remnants Museum pulls no punches in its depiction of what Vietnamese people call the American War. It's hard seeing some of these photos. The pain and the horror, it's almost completely indescribable. What struck me wasn't just the horror documented here, but the lack of animosity. This isn't a museum of hate or resentment, it's a testament to survival, to the human capacity to endure and rebuild. In spite of everything these people endured, the call to war is seldom talked about, but the iconography is everywhere, from camo print to full-blown war posters to army-style scooter helmets. I'm told that as you travel north, the sentiment to the country harbours for the US changes, but in Saigon there's still an undercurrent of Americana. Trying to get someone to talk about the war has been difficult, near impossible. Why? Well, I don't know.
It's not very good to talk about that because war so now 50 years already. Just after the war, the Vietnamese people, they see the American as friend. That's what I saw. No hatred. Actually, Vietnamese people, we are very friendly. I can tell. No hatred.
We head southeast to Vung Tau, where the mountains meet the sea. Just a couple of hours from Saigon, it's where the city dwellers come to escape the heat, breathe the sea air and indulge in seafood feasts. It's the Vietnamese equivalent of fish and chips and a few days by the sea, but like everywhere in Vietnam, there's more to Vung Tau than meets the eye. It's a place of striking contrasts, a city with a split personality. Back Beach, with its resort-style bubble tea cafes, is the domain of the young, the connected, and the relentlessly modern. But cross to the other side of the peninsula and you find a very different Vung Tau entirely. As the morning mist lifts off the water, revealing a patchwork of weathered wooden platforms and colourful boats, you're witnessing a way of life that predates modern Vietnam by centuries. Here in the coastal waters near Vung Tau, time seems suspended, caught between the relentless pull of the future and the anchoring weight of tradition. The waters surrounding Vung Tau, part of the Barrio Vung Tau province, have nourished fishing communities since long before borders were drawn by men in distant roams. With Vietnam's 3,260-kilometre coastline, these southern communities evolve differently to their northern counterparts. No permanent floating villages here, instead a network of temporary wooden platforms and specialised vessels, each an ingenious response to the specific temperament of these southern seas. Statistics show Barrio Vung Tau contributes nearly 6% of Vietnam's total fishing fleet. But numbers fail to capture the sensory assault, the pungent fermentation of fish sauce being processed on wooden platforms, the symphony of diesel engines and shouted instructions, the kaleidoscope of blues, reds and yellows marking each vessel against the azure backdrop as container ships lumbered towards Saigon's ports in the distance. These fishing families continue their ancient dance with the sea. Their fortunes rise and fall not with economic indicators, but with the day's catch, a parallel Vietnam that exists in the shadows of skyscrapers and economic statistics. We needed to get back to Saigon to meet with Tu. He mentioned he had something to show us on the old canal. I'm not sure what he had in store, but he promised it to be worth our while. So we caught the fast ferry back to the city to meet him.
Trời ơi, để tao quay video tôi kìa. Thì hên xong. Em không đẹp trai đâu, không đó. Sao em không đẹp trai? Vậy đâu, tao lúc lên.
In here, I we just like in one of the oldest like canal system in Ho Chi Minh City, and this is canal from the Saigon River. And in the past, all of the merchandise and the goods from the Mekong Delta have been using this. This is the whole canal system in here that have been like separated by the human hands and still exists until today. And the people still using the boat to follow across the canal to transportation to and some other place in here cannot be accessed by the motorcycle or walking, but only on the canal on the boat only. Okay? We will go over this old area by this boatman, and he is the live witnesses. He have been doing this about like 2 generations already, and for us to discover how the Vietnamese have been living by the water in the past and how it's changing until today.
Mekong nó anh còn khoảng giờ anh con.
Mr. Thao is what Tu describes as a living witness, a guide that can not only show you where things happened, but also describe them in detail in order for you to as closely as possible feel or relive moments. This is not for the faint of heart or for people that are somewhat empathetic to traumatic stories and events. He tells us his story straight from the land.
In this area, in the past, the revolution army will hidden in here and kill on sight every soldier or the people they think like working with like the army of the south of Vietnam. and honor the dead body. They will honor this area. He's having lived in here with his father and used to carry the people around this place to come in here to recognize the body. And if they not like that, dead body not been recognized, they will bury on the on this like this shot in here until today. Have been like a lot. Because at that moment, if you choose side, the other side will kill you. So this is very difficult for the people in here to have someone or to follow someone, because like if on the both side know that you working for another side, you will kill. So his mother have been like the Revolution Army to supply them the food. So she will do it by the boat like this, and she will carry all of like the food on the like plastic bag bigger like this, and they will put under the water and use the rope to connect, and then she will go in. And one day, that's the soldier from the south of Vietnam have been discover her, and they were asking what is like this price, and she say that this is my rice. I eat it because it's too big, so they know she lie. So they ask like if you can eat it all of this, they will let she go. But because it's too big, that she cannot eat it, so they just torture her and beat her near death. Yeah. But like after the war, they receive nothing, not like nomination or award or anything else. And this is like the story of his family.
Just want to, say it's sorry that, that you're the last of your generation that will be doing this, and that these lands that represent so much may be, disappearing without recognition of what happened properly.
So he said he feels sorry also.
Time clearly does not bend to anyone. Those that call for progress would rather forget the blemishes throughout history. The pains felt, the blood spilled. Sometimes all we can do is recognise that somewhere along the line, shit went horribly wrong, and do all we can not to repeat the same mistakes. But in doing so, it only seems right that we recognise those that were wronged or paid the ultimate price.
How long it's been here for?
This is like the year have been like this temple have been like built. In this temple, it could be like communal house for all of the local people nearby living and connect in here. And in this communal house, we just like will carry our belief in the element, like the 5 elements: fire, water, wood, earth, and air.
At this quaint river temple, we met Mr. Tu, the most remarkable human, who seemed both deliriously and enviably happy.
Tu bổ sửa chữa nâng cấp tới giờ.
I just asked like how long he been like doing this job as like the guardian of this neighborhood and also like to carry people from another side into here. He said he have been doing it around like 50 years.
Đó, rồi tới giờ luôn. Là mấy năm rồi đó.
Around like 50 years ago, in this situation, it very difficult for his family and for himself also. So he come in here and like praying like please help me with my family going through that difficult times. If it subsists, I will voluntarily living in here and serving in here. So he keep his promise to be the guardian of this temple until today, 50 years later.
That's a very honourable life you've chosen to live.
And cái với lại
Ta mới bổ sung vô.
no. So he said like in the war time, this area have been really chaos, bombing, gunning all around this neighborhood. So all the neighborhood nearby, they will come in here to looking for some protection. After that, this place is the only place who have been protect them all. So because it is like the temple, so the soldier on both sides don't want to attack in this temple.
Chứ không phải là duyên của mình.
So now like until today, his like work is to come in here every morning, cleaning all things up, burning the perfume, and pray for like the peaceful for everyone, not in Vietnam but around the world. This is his like his belief, his promise to keep, and what he do.
Love it.
Yeah. Dạ, cảm ơn chú. Dạ. Dạ, cảm ơn chú nhiều. Chú sức khỏe nha.
Rồi, ok.
As we motored away from the temple, I felt the uncomfortable pangs of regret. I wish I asked more questions and interacted more, but I was shattered by both Mr. Tu and Mr. Thao, their stories, sentiments and their strengths. I don't feel like there was any expectation of sympathy, but then I doubt it would offer the same luxury as here. Now you may be familiar with banh mi. Hell, you may even think that you've had the best banh mi. But if you've not been to Vietnam, I'm calling you out. You got that right. Shots fired. Me and the crew chuckled about having a banh mi counter up on the screen rolling over like the US national debt clock. At this point, I think we're up to about 47 banh mi. We knew it was time for something different. Deconstructed banh mi? Hell yeah.
If you've had a big night in Saigon, this is what you need. Oh, that's delicious. Number one breakfast spot in town. Bread's really crusty, but fresh. Most of these places cook their own bread fresh that day, which is a lot different than back home. You wouldn't get that. Fresh. Only gripe is there's so much ice in the iced coffee that you don't get much actual iced coffee. Not enough. Everything else is 5-star. It's absolutely divine. What I like about it is it's almost like a build your own meal. Do it any way you like. And there's no wrong way or right way. Unless you're at the place we were last night. If you do it the wrong way, you might get scolded. But in a nice way. Oh yeah.
Andrew Fraser is Australia's answer to Louis Theroux. If Louis was an Aussie YouTuber that once took a trip to Vietnam and completely forgot to return, he's a talented storyteller, culturalist and father.
Like, I think most locals, that's what people call it, they just go with Saigon. But I think a lot of people internationally think that it has like a political leaning or that there's like a bias to why they say that. And I don't think that there is.
I think it can get political, but that's where you want to take it. I think locals kind of avoid getting political at any length. So like trying to talk about the war and trying to talk about, you know, the nature of communism and how Vietnam is maybe a different form of communism or the same, or, you know, then like you find this sort of hardline wall is like, and we've only really had one person sort of break that wall.
You've got to remember, like, the average age of Saigon is something crazy. It's like 27. Really? It's bonkers, man. Because, like, Vietnam is getting rich, and everybody is sending their kids to the cities to learn and get educated, right? So you have that, just pulls way down the population. The war to the American war to the vast majority of Saigon's population is this thing that happened to their grandparents. They're sick to death of fucking hearing about it. It's not their story. Yeah. And it's kind of like, now Vietnam's in this place where it's one of the fastest growing countries on earth. Yeah. And Saigon is like the economic epicenter of that. The Mekong where you've been, like, this place is fucking exploding. Everybody is getting rich. And especially in their own terms. I mean, and they're not getting rich together, right? Like, it's not completely equal, but everyone's way better off than they were than the generation and the generation before that. And they want that to be the story. You know, they don't want the story of Saigon to be this thing that happened so long ago to them.
How long have you been here?
I've been here for 10 years now.
Yeah. What keeps you here?
I just love it, man. I mean, shit, I travel for a living now, right? You know, like, I go everywhere. There's just something about Saigon. I think it is like a way better living city than it is a visiting city. And I think it's an okay visiting city as well, right? But it's like, there's this crazy energy, there's this crazy pace, there's an optimism here. It's like, I think it's kind of like the opposite of what you think of when you think of like a communist nation. Yeah. It feels like way freer here than it ever did back home in Australia. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it almost feels like the Wild West. It's like, shit, I wish there was more rules. You know what I mean? I wish you couldn't drive your scooter down the side path. I wish you couldn't.
I like that part. I almost got run over crossing the road coming here.
Yeah, right. It's like chaos, man. Like, you want to start a business, you just like get a stall, you park it in front of a Starbucks, you do whatever the fuck you want. You know what I mean? And so it's like, there's that weird...
That is the nature of the free market capitalism.
Right, exactly. Where's the revolution in history where like the country was doing great and they were like, this is it, we're done with this government, there's not enough free speech. It just doesn't freaking happen, you know what I mean? People are willing to give away, unfortunately or fortunately, some level of freedom, right, for prosperity if it's happening, right? Yeah, people chill when shit's going well, you know?
But you would think that, you know, with the French history, maybe there'd be some sort of bad blood or...
That one, you know what, man, that always surprises me. Like, I never did as much reading into it, but I recently did a video on in the rubber plantations, where they were basically like slave camps, and they had prisons on site, and there were rebellions that were crushed in the most brutal fashion, and you know, it's horrible stuff to read about. But in a weird way, I genuinely think that most, again, it's sort of like, I think it's just so far in the past that most young Vietnamese people almost look back on the French era as like in like a nostalgic kind of way.
We've talked to some people in the 60s and 70s, and it just appears to me that Vietnamese don't hold grudges.
Yeah, there's that as well. Again, I think it's this...
But they're recounting the most horrific stories, pulling bodies out of the water and, you know, like showing us
land where there's just thousands of bodies that they bury?
Well, again, I think there's two reasons. It's what I was saying before, in that I think that the vast majority of Vietnam now is like, look, that was the past, shit's doing well now, let's focus on what's doing now and the future, right? But then I think there's the other side of it as well, is that, you remember, a lot of like Vietnam's history, especially with the Americans, was almost as much of a civil war as it was.
I agree.
Right?
Yes.
And so everyone has...
Which is counter to how the narrative is told outside.
For sure, right? Yeah. And so like everyone has family, friends who are on the other side of it. And so, you know, it's kind of like they look back at it in part as like, man, that was really fucked up what happened. Do you know what I mean? But it's hard to have that bad blood against, you know, your uncle, your auntie who was on the other side of it, you know? So yeah, I think that's the other side of it as well. Yeah. I think it is like the most remarkable thing that you do have a unified Vietnam. You know, it is just, and like for how much of history was there ever really a unified Vietnam, I think is also like a pretty big question. But it's a remarkable country in the fact that it is somehow together and like one people, and right, it's unique.
Everyone knows the Mekong Delta. Even if you don't know, you know it. If you've seen cult classics like Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now, Oliver Stone's Platoon, or you've seen Robin Williams in Good Morning Vietnam, then you're at least peripherally aware of the river that is notoriously known as the Nine Dragons.
Does the Saigon River and the Mekong join up still?
Actually not in Saigon, but only in the south of Vietnam, and flows through the terrace of 13 provinces. And the Mekong River flows through the territories of 6 countries, originating from Tibetan Plateau in China, and it flows from China to Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, and finally in the south of Vietnam before emptying into the East Sea. Actually, in the Mekong River, there is a river named Cửu Long River, which means Nine Dragons. Yeah, because there are 9 branches flow to the delta, but now like 3 or 5 branches have disappeared due to many factors like natural sedimentation or the hydropower dam upstream have slowed and reduced water flow into the upper Mekong River. So some of the branches have disappeared due to that reason. And this phenomenon not only affects the environment, but also written the livelihoods of the people who are like reliant on fishing and agriculture.
We used to do a floating market in Saigon?
No, not floating market in Saigon, but in the Mekong, in other regions, in other provinces near Cần Thơ. Actually, some other floating market have disappeared due to many reasons. Like, because you see in the past, like over 100 years ago, there were not many cars or motorbikes like now. So the locals in the Mekong River, the Mekong Delta, only like went everywhere from province to province by the boat, from the small boat to the bigger boat like this. So now you see modern society, we have truck, car, motorbikes, and the streets, modern and the roads, So most people, especially the traders and the farmers, prefer to use the truck and the car. Well, so some of the floating markets have disappeared due to that reasons. And to reach the floating market, we crossed 4 bridges, and we just caught the first one here.
Not gonna go under the Love Bridge.
You wanna go to the Bridge of Love? Huh? And people call it Bridge of Love because people believe that every thing going, we go to the Bridge of Love, like make a wish, we will soon find a true partner over there.
After 3 hours of sitting in the car from Saigon to Can Tho, my cheeks are numb. And Thao bouncing around with the energy of 9 dragons or a herd of cats. Forgive me if I just enjoy a natural marvel and its relationship to its people.
we just think this is like a vegetable market because here they only sell agricultural products like vegetable, fruit, tubers, but not meat or fish here.
No meat.
No meat.
No fish.
No fish. Only vegetable.
Somebody tricked me. Somebody tricked me. They told me that there would be meat.
Not meat here. You know the term like matchmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, when like a matchmaker connects two people who never met before,
Yep.
and then they get to know each other, and then maybe get married.
You're going to go to a matchmaker?
I know. Actually, yeah. Think about it. This is the sweet and sour sauce for bánh xèo, the Vietnamese pancake. You're having the pork. Yeah. And we have chicken also. Chicken cooked with lemongrass and a pumpkin flour. No fish here. This is stir fry with some garlic above.
Love garlic.
You see the secret. It's hard to guess, like the Vietnamese face. It's hard to guess their age because during the meal, we eat a lot of vegetables. The vegetables and the fruit really is useful and helpful to slower our aging process. I think you should eat more vegetables.
Why? Am I looking old?
No, you're not. Actually, this morning, I guess you were just about like 30 or 32 years old. But it turns out that you...
Whoa. Hey.
I shouldn't. But the thing is, have you ever tried the rat? The rat.
Fried rat? How do you cook it?
Actually, there are many different ways to cook the rat. But we're not hunting the rat from the street or somewhere else. We hunt them from the rice field. You see a lot of the rats living there because the main food and the favorite food of the rats are the rice. We can cook many different dishes like grilled rats or fry in the oil. Yeah. But for me, I would go with the grill one on the grill. Yeah.
Is there much meat on the wraps?
Not too much, but you can eat this like the bone, like skeleton. It depends on the size of the rat as well. Like for smaller one, you can eat the whole rat, but for the really bigger one, no, I suggest that you don't eat the whole rat. You haven't tried yet?
Yeah.
Maybe you could try sometime. Actually, not only me, but my parents. Yeah, rat is their favorite food, especially the fried one, rat and the grilled ones. So this is the Vietnamese pancake. We call it bánh xèo. Can you say it? Bánh xèo.
Banh xèo.
I'll show you how to roll it. You see, for the yellow crust here, it is made from the coconut milk, and then you see the filling inside, and the shrimp here, and the jicama. This is the jicama, and then the pork. The pork.
Yep.
You take one green mustard leaf. Yeah, pick one, please. You pick up one of the crispy crust, one pieces, just like smaller pieces. Yeah. And leave in the middle, just to balance. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you put some filling like carrot, jicama. And then
You use the back of your chopsticks.
I use this one, so I need to make for you this one, the other side.
Oh. So you don't contaminate.
Fishman leaf. Fishman leaf.
Yeah.
And then there's a fish sauce over here.
Yep.
Yeah. Try this for you.
Right. Because I probably won't be able to do it, so. Very minty. Very, very minty.
Now you can try making a roll yourself. Yeah.
You almost broke the glass.
Yeah. Break the glass. Yeah.
If I top you with the Canal, you turn right.
Yep.
And then right is in the left.
What was your name?
Okay. My name is Chi. T-S-I.
David.
Yeah.
Pleased to meet you. Have a good day. I had a classy dinner appointment across town, a perfect excuse to take a look into something I'd read about online.
Tengo todo lo que tengo, no busco cualquiera, no maldición. Tengo todo lo que tengo, no busco cualquiera, es un maldición.
A group that initially feels out of place, but the more time spent thinking about it and seeing them, the more it feels right. Picture a crew of ink-stained souls, the kind you'd expect to see jacking cars on Grand Theft Auto or prowling the sun-drenched chaos of LA's mean streets. The twist, in fact, is these souls live for each other, the community and family. The love they have is found in style and in brotherhood. They may draw a suspicious gaze, but from what I can tell, the community embraces it.
cualquiera es una maldición.
My name is Tak. I'm the chef owner here at Thao Dining. I used to live in the UK and spent a couple of years working across a couple of kitchens in London, and finally moved back here to Vietnam at the end of 2022, in which I set up Thao as an experimental kitchen where I just cook and then, inviting friends and families to come over. The premise here is actually where I was born and lived for the first couple of years of my life. So we just wanted to reiterate the essence of our family when we used to live here as we set up this kitchen as a home kitchen. So I want to get everyone, all the guests, whenever they come here, they feel like they are visiting my home rather than experiencing a proper restaurant, which is quite stressful sometimes.
When we did a dinner here, when we first started, he didn't have a signboard, nothing. We called this the restaurant that didn't exist.
Javel, who you've met before, also runs Saigon Supper Club, a dinner series that features up-and-coming local food and drink talents. And Jason Pham, an Australian-born Vietnamese who lives in Saigon and owns multiple cocktail bars, including Mammy Cocktail, joins us.
All right.
Yeah.
May I?
Sure.
Okay, so this is our starter for today. We have pigeon in two ways. So we put the legs that will turn them into like a little lollipop. So yeah, please enjoy whatever tea.
Thank you, chef.
So David, bolalot is usually done with beef, and it's very, very, it's a common street food, like grilled beef wrapped in betel leaves, but he's doing it with pigeon instead.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's the weird and wonderful thing that you've eaten in Vietnam so far?
It was almost rat.
What?
I've done rat before. It's not a rat like that you're thinking. It's like a field.
Yeah, it's the same animal, but
A field?
They're raised in the field. They're like field rats. They're like this big.
Still a rat.
But they're not sewer rats.
Still a rat.
It's a rodent.
what's the most extreme out there food that you've had in Vietnam?
In Vietnam, whatever I say will pale to whatever Jason's gonna say.
Have you tried a coconut worm?
No.
They're like
I've tried
those,
that one.
the really big yellow
Really?
ones that still move. That's disgusting.
Really?
Try
Yeah, but it's
coconut.
like
What's the
they're-
disgusting part? Because it's still moving? Or?
And then it pops.
Ah.
And it's just goo.
It's like a Ghostbusters segment with the exploding in
You
your
get to
mouth.
dip it with like some.
Yeah, it comes in the fish sauce and the chili,
Yeah.
but still.
Okay.
Alcohol
That
it.
doesn't help.
Alcohol probably would help.
Seasoning helps.
Still a live oozing worm.
Chef Tak is a culinary ninja who lived up to every braggadocious claim that Javel laid down before him.
We found some really good places though, and they don't look like anything from the street. You know, like just stainless steel benches packed with locals. Food gets to the table before we do. Like,
yeah,
that's what's going to keep me coming back. You know, like.
Half of the beauty about Vietnam, it's not going to the recommended places because you're not building your own story, you're not building your own memory with that experience. Because at the end of the day, like a bowl of pho, it's going to be a bowl of pho. A good one to a bad one, it's probably going to be marginal.
There's some really good ones.
There are some really, really good
Some
ones.
really good
There
ones.
are, but none of them.
Yeah, but it's true,
But none of
he's
them.
right.
But none of them compared to the pho back in Australia.
Well, you can, in Australia, you can eat the national emblem of the emu, the kangaroo. You can.
You do eat the kangaroo.
Oh,
we eat emu too.
Yeah, emu, crocodile.
Can you eat koalas?
No.
No, you cannot.
No, there's too much chlamydia in them.
What? Oh my god, I love this. This is my favorite dish. This is my favorite dish.
Thank you.
That's always been your favorite.
It has always been my favorite. Everyone's? Amazing.
So this is canh chua, which is our sweet and sour soup in the Mekong Delta way. So in the Mekong Delta, we use the pork stock and we use pineapple, tomatoes, tamarind to make the soup. So it's sweet and sour, quite sweet. It's more on the sweet side because in the southern style, it's cooked in the southern style. In the southern Vietnam, people tend to eat a little bit more sweets. And we infuse that with the traditional herbs that we usually eat, like cilantro. People don't eat the sweet soup with wonton, but we sort of like create a different perspective to the soup by serving that with a wonton instead of eating with rice.
Like, what do Australians think of Vietnam?
I think the general misconception from Australians about Vietnam is it's still
developing.
It's still very rude, still very third world out here.
Yeah.
Still very dangerous, dirty, etc. And I think that's starting to change now, and very recently. But
there's not a lot of like recreational areas like in Vietnam. I feel that you can like hang out.
Yeah, it's also like sweltering hot all year round.
For sure.
Yeah,
or wet.
because we're.
I was playing what's the hacky sack but with the shuttlecock.
Yeah.
I was playing that in the park with like 4 70-year-old people that move like they're 30. I think there's like a fair amount of activity. There's some lady doing kung fu that we got video of and all sorts of stuff. Like, it amazes me at how actually active. I wish people were that active where I come from.
But in Vietnam, everybody's community, right? Like playing with each other, like all these badminton on the neighborhood. Pickleball. It's like so community.
It's very a community. Like we do socialize.
Socialized sport. Socialized sport.
Yeah, I mean we do love socializing.
But they're inclusive as well. Like, I was just a complete stranger watching them play, and they're like, come, join us. You know, like. What we were trying to decipher is like there's so many food establishments. Like, where are the other businesses? Like, how do people afford to do anything else but food? And you know, because
other things.
Like
sure.
But if you walk down any street, there's like restaurant, nail salon, restaurant.
It's true.
It's such a heavy balance of food. And it's like, how do they afford, and obviously maybe there's just lots of streets with no food establishments on. That's just how.
No, that's not true. Every street in Vietnam has food. Everyone has food.
It's so confusing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's because it has like a way of socializing to each other. Like, you're like brewing, going out, eating. Eating is very like,
social.
Easy. It's very easy to eat like together.
And everybody can afford it.
It's quite affordable. We are rising as well as an economy. So like people are getting a bit more richer.
Good job, chef.
Thank you very much. How's everything so far?
Really good.
Amazing.
We will soon be stopping at Banh Park. The doors on the right side will open. The stop after Banh Park will be Tân Gan.
2 weeks in Vietnam has barely scratched the surface. There's such a rich tapestry of all the things I look for in a place. A long breadth of history, steeped in culture, architecture and art. But there is also a kaleidoscope of contradictions between communism and capitalism, religious beliefs, traditions and modernity. Any preconceptions that I have had have all been shattered. I am once again caught in the traveller's dilemma. The yearning to return to a place you hold so dear, the affection of the food, the scenes and the people that you've met, yet torn by the ever-relentless pull of new trails to blaze. I am an explorer by heart, but Saigon has just earned a place in my heart.